Once the cornerstone of farming, forestry and most agricultural industry, the heavy draft horses of Great Britain have endured much over the last century. Now, a dedicated team of enthusiasts and breeders are striving to keep these captivating giants and their heritage alive.
The purpose of the whole place is to promote the heavy horses, but also, more importantly, to promote the heritage and the history that surrounds them. And the objective of doing that is to keep that alive, so it goes through generations, and also the importance of it, and especially with the farming industry, because it was the grassroots and the foundation of farming was using the heavy horse. So what we try to do is preserve that, and I know technology's moved and I know technology's changed a lot of things within farming, but if you don't have those grassroots, then you lose the foundation. So that's what we try to do here. So the things like all the skills and the crafts that surrounded them, yes, some of them you may not use again as towards with a horse and with a working life, but they can be readapted for modern day life. So it's keeping those alive and it's keeping things moving along. Even though you go to a show, you'd always get people always like the heavies. They might not have anything to do with horses, but the heavy horses, they were the ones. And I think through talking with people, it was because they had a purpose in life. And people recognise them through grandparents' conversations, you know, the milkman, the butcher or something like that used to deliver with the horse and this, that and the other. So there's always this relationship. And I think as well, on a visual site, I mean, there's nothing nicer than a fantastic driving team. I mean, with the brasses and this, that and the other, real pride going out. They're categorised for their size, for their strength. Nowadays, the heavy horses are moving into the riding side of things. And I suppose in a big way, you look at the horse and you think, you know, look at the size of him and his weight, and he's got the big feet and everything like that. He can carry this huge, huge weight. His spine is still the same. He's made and he's built in his back end and his front end, and that's where his power is. So he's got his power to take up weight and push it forward, and he's got power to stop weight and take it back and hold it. So to me, that's your definition of your horse, and also your displacer of that weight with the big foot. So there, for ourselves, as the category goes, our three native breeds are the Shire, the Clydesdale and the Suffolk Punch.
The Clydesdale horse is the pride of Scotland, and the history of the breed dates back from the middle of the 18th century. Scottish farmer Tom Tennant is one of the UK's top Clydesdale breeders.
When I was born, Clydesdales were on the farm. They were on the family farm. Father had them since the early 50s. And when I was born, they were there, you know, and as people say, the gentle giants, I can certainly vouch for that. You know, as a toddler, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, we were crawling about the legs, you know, of these Clydesdale horses. They're a draft horse, a work horse. They were used on the land, you know, and also in commerce. I know a story of one or two of these haulage companies in Glasgow who used to have 200, 300 pairs of horses went out every day to work in the streets of Glasgow. You know, they would cart coal, they'd cart everything. You know, that's when the docks were vibrant in Glasgow. The Clydesdales originated, the Duke of Hamilton actually brought in a Flemish stallion from Belgium, and he allowed this stallion to be used on the native mares, you know, for his tenants in the Hamilton area. Well, Hamilton, that's the Clyde, and that's hence the name. It came from the Clydesdales, you know, in Lanarkshire, and then they've just evolved from this Flemish stallion that came in.
The First World War, paralleled with mechanical advances in both farming and industry, dealt a devastating and irreversible blow to the heavy horse breeds.
Obviously, it's the introduction of the tractor into the diesel engine. We could put it purely and simple, the diesel engine, you know, and we lost them off the streets, we lost them on the land. And the war, don't forget the war. Thousands upon thousands, millions of horses went to war. They never came back again. We lost some tremendous gene pool when it went to war. Like,
if you cast your mind back to the likes of World War I mean, you've got an army there of men you know, which lost their lives as well. But there was also that army of horses, because that was the power that was needed. And it demonstrated then, because I've got photographs of, there were so many heavy horses taken, in the first 12 days of war being declared. They didn't have that power. They'd got used to that power, but they'd lost it. So they used circus elephants to pull ploughs and things like that, you know, that were in the country, because they'd lost the horses to do it. So they had that recognition, the plough was there, you know, the power was there.
Every year, enthusiasts, breeders and spectators alike descend onto the Etal Showground in Northumberland for an annual festival, celebrating and exhibiting the best of Britain's heavy horses.
Well, what we've got is the Festival of the Heavy Horse, the Festival of the Heavy Horse. It's purely dedicated to the heavy horses, and we actually run 2 events. That one, we concentrate more on the driving teams, so, and all the skills and crafts, but also the local food producers and everything like that, because obviously in those days you had your home produce and everything like that. And it's to allow the public for a day to go in and see the driving teams, and also everything else that goes on around. So it's a general family day.
I'm here today with my other 2 brothers, Jimmy and Pete. Today we brought a young gelding here today, a young 3-year-old horse. This is his first outing in public. We brought him here. This is an ideal opportunity just to see how this horse, you know, for the future. If he performs well today, he's going to the Highland Show in 2 weeks' time. Simple as that. Yeah.
Showcases like the festival and the Hay Farm Centre play a vital role in highlighting the importance of preserving not just the horses, but the heritage that surrounds them.
It's our history. If we lose our history, I mean, look at all the skills and the traditions, and your blacksmiths and your metal workers, your leather people, even your man down to making your brasses, the skill and the art in that. You don't have that nowadays. So it is important to keep those things going. I mean, everything here has to be big, it has to be heavy, it has to be vast, because you've got to think of their size all the time. So, no, I'm a stickler, you know, we've got to keep that going. And like I said before, it's our foundation in farming.
They're still on the rare breeds. I don't know which band they're in now. At one time they used to be in band 3, you know, but they're still in the rare breeds. So you need guys like myself, you know, to keep them. We've got to keep this breed here.